Hi everybody, and especially Sarah. This is a video about playing scales, musical scales. What are scales? How do I explain this? How do you play scales on a chromatic harmonica? What is a scale, and what are you actually playing? The way I see this is that it's a set of notes that make up like a tone ladder. So basically it's a set of notes that you use to play a specific tune. Sounds a bit simple, but it is actually quite simple, I think. Most chromatic harmonicas are tuned to the key of C major. C major is a scale. Now I just explained a scale is a set of notes. So how does that sound? So on a chromatic harmonica, on a standard chromatic harmonica in the key of C, you use all the notes after each other, all the notes that are there without the slider. And so starting with the C, and you just use all the notes that are there as standard. And you get this. That's a series, a set of notes. That's how I see it. And you use that set of notes to play a tune. Just something played. It's not a tune or anything, it's just something I can think of. So basically you use that set of notes at random to play a certain tune. So the tune I just played is in the scale of C major. Of course there are, on the chromatic harmonica, there are lots of scales. You can do lots of scale. The word major, as in C major, has actually got to do with the distances between all the notes after another. So, whole note up, 2 steps up, half step, whole step, half. So that's sort of pattern. It's like a pattern of intervals type of thing. That makes up a set of notes. A set of notes is a scale. C major goes like this. Now, of course, you can do the same pattern, so all the notes have got the same distances between them. So root, whole, half, whole, half. That kind of order. That's a major scale. And you can do that on any note. It's the same set of notes. All the distances between the notes are all the same. 1, whole, half, whole, half. Or you can do it in another one. F major. Starts with an F. The same scale, the same set of notes, only the same distances between the notes. It's like a little tone ladder. It's got It's got little, it's like a ladder with steps. So the first step is quite big, second step is quite big, third step is very small, big, 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 small step. So if you start on a certain note and you do those intervals, all those notes after another, then you get a major scale, and you can start that on any note. F major, C major, A major, D major, you name it, anything. Major scales. So major scale is a set of notes in a certain pattern, and you use that to play a tune. Say you want to play a tune, and what set of notes are you using for that? What are your notes that you're using? And then you pick your scale, and then you can play that particular tune. D major, and again it's all using the same notes, the same pattern. You pick different notes out of that set of notes, and then you play a tune with it. There are several types of scales as well. If you start on a chromatic harmonica and you start on an A and you finish on an A, then you get a minor scale. Again, it's a set of notes in a certain order with a number of intervals. So, but this is a different type of step ladder. It's a step ladder with 7 steps on it. So you start at the floor, so one up, one up, one up, one up, one up. It's a set of notes that get you from the floor to the ceiling or whatever. It's like a set of notes. That is, in principle, that's a scale. So why is it so important to practice your scales? Because sometimes you want to play a tune in this scale, sometimes you want to play a tune in another scale. So that's why it's quite important to actually practice your scales. Any professional musician, doesn't matter what they're playing, whether it's a harmonica or any other instrument, any other chromatic instrument, they will always practice their scales pretty much every day. Pretty much every day. Maybe not all 12 of them, maybe 6 one day, 6 another day, 4 a day or something like that, or whatever. But every professional musician will always practice their scales pretty much on a daily basis, just to have a set of, so that you build a library in your head, and you think, okay, we're going to play a tune today. Okay, what scale is it in? Oh, it's in E major. Okay, and then you go to your library in your head and think, E major. Aha, I can play that. E major, the same scale as C major that I just explained, only this time it starts on an E. But of course, because you look at it as a step ladder, so all the distances, all the steps have to be the same. So big step, half step, big, big, big half, and then you get to the top, and you can carry on after that, so to the next floor or whatever. So look at it like a step ladder. So the major scale has got a big step, so big step, half step, big, big, big half. So it's like a type of ladder with all the distances in between. Intervals between the notes are in a certain pattern. It's like a pattern, basically. So that is basically what a scale is all about. Scales, if you like. It's a set of notes that you use to play a particular tune. Certain tunes use different, more than one scale even. So for instance, a song that has a key change in it will start with one set of notes, and then halfway the song it goes, okay, now we're not going to change, now we're not going to use that set of notes, now we're going to use another set of notes. So for instance, a song starts on C major and then it moves halfway, or the second verse or something moves to F major or G major or whatever. So you can actually use different scales in one particular tune. Also, another reason why it's quite important to practice your scales, because let's say you go to you want to play a song with somebody and it goes, okay, well, let's start in C major. Oh yeah, you go, I can play in C major, not a problem. But halfway it changes to F major and you think, oh, hang on a minute. That's where practicing your scales comes in so handy. I think that explains it. And then you've got also your minor scales, for instance, or you get your Dorian modes or anything else. There's all sorts of scales on your chromatic harmonica. What I particularly like, for instance, is using a minor scale. And the easiest way to learn it is on a C chromatic, just play A to A. That's the set of notes that you're using. So you play in a tune, but you use a minor scale. A minor scale is basically a different type of ladder. So the steps are different distances. So you use a major scale, so you take your major ladder, step ladder, and then you go, okay, now I'll play these distances. With the minor scale is basically, it's like a different step ladder where the steps have got are positioned in different ways. Should you know all this? Should you understand all these scales? What are those patterns? What is a different pattern between minor and major? Do you really need to know that? Not really. No. Obviously, if you don't read music, then yeah, it would come in handy to actually understand what you're doing. But if you read music, and as long as you can play a major scale in a particular tone ladder and you know where your flats and sharps are, you can use any scale within that, on that step ladder. Just compare it to a ladder with 7 steps and you play a tune. So you do 2 steps up, 1 down, 3 up, 2 down, etc. But basically you're using the same steps, the same 7 or 8 steps to play a tune. That's the way I see this in my head. It's like different types of ladders. It's a different scale again. It's like a different ladder altogether. Dorian mode. It sounds almost like a minor scale, but there's one step on that ladder that is slightly different from the other ladder, the minor. So I think that's how you can actually see it. Another way to compare it is to use, and I'm going to use a swear word here, diatonic harmonicas. Diatonic harmonicas come in different keys, scales, And then you can also, so you can buy them in any key, but you can all buy all the major scales. So you can buy them in A major, D major, E major, F major, G major, you name it, any major scales. But you can also buy diatonic harmonicas in minor scales. So really, if you wanted to play your scales, all the possible scales that are there in the whole world of music, you would need about 12 diatonic harmonicas in major scales. You would need another 12 in the minor scales, maybe another 12 in all the Dorian scales or anything like that. So you would need a huge number of diatonic harmonicas, whereas you can do it all on a chromatic. But, and this is the trick, it doesn't make it exactly easy, because if you want to do it all on one harmonica, even though you can, it takes a bit of studying. You want to look into, hang on, what's my ladder? Where are my steps on my ladder? How do I get them? What notes are they? So today I want to dance on my Dorian ladder. So you pick a certain type of ladder, you put it on the floor, which is a C, or you put it slightly higher on a D, E, F, whatever. But your step ladder, all the steps on the ladder are still in the same distances. I hope this makes sense, Sarah, especially for you, because this video is following your question about asking about what are scales and what do they actually mean. So I hope this helps a little bit. But again, getting your head around scales, you just have to go and practice them. Find a scale and practice it. So you can build a library in your head. So at some point you think, okay, now I'm going to play something in C major. Now I'm going to play something in A minor. Now I'm going to play something in E major or A minor. You name it, whatever. So they're all different ladders. You take a different step ladder and you dance up and down on the different ladders. And it sounds different, obviously, because we're all talking about music, so it's all sounds. I hope this helps. Maybe it sounds a bit like gobbledygook to you, but this is how I actually see this in my head. It's just how I picture this in my head. Even the ladders, the different types of ladders with the steps in different positions, that's how I see this. So a minor scale to me is just like a different ladder with the steps slightly in different places. It's the way I have this in my head, the way I see this. I hope this helps, Sarah, especially for you. And thanks for asking the question. Good luck. Thank you.